Running Fit Fam, are you ready for my running story part 2? This one is a doozy. So I can't begin to describe how embarrassing it was to go out for a run and all of a sudden find myself cramping again, and then I kid you not, I would end up on all fours trying to breathe through the pain, and you just have random strangers passing by and occasionally they would ask, are you okay? Or maybe they would ignore me, but I had to either get out of my hands and knees position and squat real low, oh yeah, I'm just recovering from a really hard mile repeat, when in reality I had barely gone a mile. And when all that was happening, it didn't feel right to call myself a runner, and it was really discouraging and painful to run this trail that maybe a couple of months before had just been so effortless and I felt so strong, and now I am struggle busting to even get through a mile because my body is fighting against me. And I felt like a fake. I literally felt like an imposter because I couldn't do these things I'd previously done. I couldn't actually run. And so then I have family and friends asking, hey, how's running going? What are your races coming up? What's your new big challenge? And I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's going fine. It's obviously really not going fine. But that's why, runner, it's so important for you not to judge yourself based on your pace, your mileage, your distance, your Strava feed, your PRs, your BQs. Those are all amazing things to be celebrated. Go ahead and I want you to wear your finisher medals after you finish a very tough race, because you deserve that acknowledgement to yourself of all the hard things that you've accomplished. But those do not determine how good of a runner you are or whether you're a runner or not. Because what's important to remember is that those finisher medals, they don't tell the whole story behind the race, do they? If you've ever run a race in general, and even a marathon, you definitely know that shiny medal you get afterwards, that's just the shining moment at the end of the race. That doesn't show all of the struggle of the hard runs, or when you wanted to stop in the middle of the race, or when you finally hit the wall. So I know those finisher medals don't tell all of your story, because they definitely don't tell all of mine. So I want you to know that whether you don't think of yourself as a runner because you're not running as much as you want to or as well as you want to, or maybe you're unmotivated right now, maybe you even kind of burned yourself out with the last training cycle, maybe you just can't run right now because life threw a whole lemon tree at you and forgot to give you the vodka to go with it, you are still a runner. Or maybe you're like me and you don't know how your body's going to respond a mile out, and if you're going to find yourself on the side of the road because you cramped. Believe it or not, even in that situation, you are still a runner. Because yes, we understand runners run, this is obvious, but runners are one of the most resilient, determined, and kind athletes that I have ever met. And it takes a lot of courage to be able to go out there and say, yep, I'm gonna throw myself into an uncomfortable pace or distance and we're just gonna see what happens. So if you even have the courage to step out your front door and do the workout, do the run, and try, regardless of what your body is gonna throw at you that day, you've most definitely earned the title of a runner. And that, Running Fit Fam, is daring to train differently.